The goodbye that didn't feel like goodbye. LeBron James did not just leave the Los Angeles Lakers. He walked out of one of the loudest buildings in basketball and somehow made the silence feel even louder. Because the official story sounded clean, respectful, polished. The Lakers thanked him, LeBron thanked them, everybody smiled for the cameras, everybody used the right words, and on paper, it looked like a legendary chapter ending with grace. But almost immediately, NBA fans started asking the question nobody in Los Angeles wanted to say too loudly. Did LeBron really choose to leave? Or had the Lakers already chosen a future without him? That is where the story stopped being a farewell and turned into a storm. 1 minute, the basketball world was reading goodbye statements. The next, every clip, every quote, every timeline, detail, every social media post was being treated like evidence. Fans were freezing the final footage. Analysts were picking apart body language, and one moment kept getting replayed like it revealed something the Lakers were trying to hide. Because this was not just any player leaving. This was LeBron James, the man who arrived in Los Angeles as the biggest name in basketball, brought the Lakers back to championship glory in 2020, broke historic records in purple and gold, and turned every season into a national conversation. But by the time he walked away, the Lakers no longer looked like LeBron's team. They looked like Luka Dončić's team, and that changes everything. The moment reports surfaced that LeBron had informed the franchise he would play somewhere else, the reaction was explosive. Some people saw it as a superstar making one final decision for himself. Others saw something much colder. A franchise quietly moving on from an aging legend, choosing a younger centerpiece, and letting the old era end before anyone was ready to admit it. Then Skip Bayless jumped in, and the goodbye caught fire. He did not buy the peaceful version. He did not believe this was simply about happiness. He framed it like a power shift, like the Lakers had looked at LeBron's contract, Luka's future, and the direction of the roster, then decided the king was no longer the center of the kingdom. And once that idea entered the conversation, there was no going back. Because now every detail felt suspicious. The timing with Bronny, the new roster moves, the public silence from certain people, the polite goodbye from Luka, the shade from former teammates, the media war between people defending LeBron's legacy and people questioning whether his Lakers run was really as successful as the tribute post made it seem. That is why this story is bigger than one free agency decision. This is about legacy, control, respect, family, power, and the uncomfortable truth that even the greatest players in NBA history eventually reach a point where a franchise starts planning for life after them. So the real question is not just where LeBron goes next. The real question is whether the Lakers pushed him toward the door before he ever decided to open it. Before we go deeper, tell me where you are watching from right now. Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you think LeBron left on his own, type 1. If you think the Lakers quietly moved on from him first, type 2. Don't forget to subscribe, because this story is only getting darker from here. The Bronny timing that changed everything. The strangest part of LeBron's exit was not the announcement itself. It was what happened right before it. Because less than 24 hours before LeBron told the Lakers he would play somewhere else, Los Angeles made a decision that should have been small, quiet, and routine. They guaranteed Bronny James's contract. On paper, that is not supposed to be a headline that shakes the league. Bronny was a young guard, still developing, still trying to earn his place, still carrying the impossible weight of being LeBron James' son while trying to prove he belonged in the NBA on his own terms. But timing changes everything. The Lakers had a chance to move on from Bronny and limit their financial commitment. Instead, they kept him. They locked in his money. They kept the son on the roster. Then, almost immediately after that, the father was gone. That is the kind of sequence that makes fans stop scrolling. Because if the Lakers knew LeBron might leave, why keep Bronny? And if LeBron knew he was leaving, why let the Lakers guarantee his son's place there first? Was this a sign of respect? Was it business? Was it a negotiation piece? Or was it the final strange twist in a partnership that had already become too complicated behind closed doors? Nobody needed to invent drama. The calendar did it for them. One day, the Lakers were securing Bronny's future in Los Angeles. The next day, LeBron was preparing for a future somewhere else. That made the entire NBA look at the father-son storyline differently. What once felt like a historic basketball dream suddenly looked like unfinished business. Because LeBron and Bronny playing together was supposed to be one of the most emotional chapters of LeBron's final years. It was supposed to be the rare sports moment that went beyond wins and losses. A father and son sharing an NBA floor, a legend reaching the end of his career while his son tried to begin his. But now that story was split in half. LeBron was leaving, Bronny was staying, at least for the moment. And that created a new question that nobody could answer. Was Bronny still part of the Lakers' long-term plan, or was he now waiting to be moved once his father chose a new destination? That uncertainty made the Lakers' decision feel heavier, because Bronny was no longer just a young player on a guaranteed deal. He became a symbol of everything unresolved between LeBron and Los Angeles. If the Lakers keep him, it suggests they still believe in his development, separate from his father. But if they trade him later, it suggests the guarantee was only one move in a much bigger chessboard connected to LeBron's next chapter. Either way, it pulled Bronny into a storm he did not create. And that is what made this part of the story so uncomfortable. LeBron's exit was already about power, money, age, and legacy. But once Bronny became part of the timeline, it became personal, it became family, it became impossible to separate basketball business from human emotion. The Lakers were not just moving on from a superstar. They were possibly separating the most famous father-son storyline the league had ever seen. And the moment people realized that, LeBron's farewell stopped looking clean. It started looking calculated. Skip Bayless lit the match. Every major NBA story needs someone willing to say the uncomfortable thing out loud. In this one, that person was Skip Bayless. The Lakers gave LeBron a respectful goodbye. LeBron answered with gratitude, Luka stayed calm, Magic showed appreciation, but Skip looked at all of it and basically said, no, that is not the real story. He did not see a peaceful exit. He saw a cover-up wrapped in polite language. To Skip, this was not LeBron chasing happiness. It was the Lakers quietly telling him the empire had changed hands. The franchise was no longer built around the king. It was being built around Luka Dončić, and once that became clear, LeBron's exit was not a surprise. It was the result. That is why Skip's reaction hit so hard. He did not just criticize the move, he attacked the framing. He questioned the entire public version of events. According to his argument, the Lakers did not beg LeBron to stay. They did not empty the vault to keep him comfortable. They looked at the money, the age, the roster, the future, and sent the kind of message superstars understand instantly. If you want to stay, it will not be on your old term. That is a cold message. And in the NBA, cold messages often arrive without being spoken directly. A smaller offer, a different roster plan, a younger star getting more organizational attention, a front office suddenly talking about flexibility, a team that once shaped everything around you now making moves that make more sense without you. Skip saw those signs and turned them into a public case. Then he went even further. He suggested Luka did not want LeBron back. That accusation changed the temperature of the whole conversation. Because now this was not only about LeBron versus the Lakers front office. It became LeBron versus the future face of the franchise. That is a dangerous story, because Luka did not need to say anything harsh for people to start imagining tension. His silence became evidence to some fans. His polite goodbye became proof to others that there was no real issue. And that is how NBA drama works now. Every word matters. Every missing word matters even more. Skip also dragged LeBron's Lakers resume into the conversation. He reduced 8 years of purple and gold to a rough grade, arguing that one championship could not erase missed playoffs, early exits, sweeps, and disappointment. That was the part that angered LeBron supporters the most. Because they see 2020 as a championship that restored Lakers' pride, they see LeBron as the superstar who chose Los Angeles when the franchise was lost. They see the scoring record, the playoff runs, the global attention, the credibility he brought back. But critics see something else. They see a team that only reached the top once, then spent years chasing stability. They see an expensive superstar aging while the West got younger, faster, and deeper. They see a franchise that had to decide between honoring the past and protecting the future. That is why Skip's attack worked as a content bomb. It forced people to choose a side. Was LeBron still the powerful superstar writing his own ending? Or was he a legend being moved out of the way by a franchise that had already chosen Luka? And once that question went public, the Lakers could no longer control the goodbye. Skip had turned a farewell into a courtroom. The 8-year legacy nobody can agree on. LeBron's Lakers legacy is complicated because both sides have a real argument. If you defend him, the case is simple. He came to Los Angeles when the Lakers were lost, made them relevant again, brought superstar attention back to the franchise, and delivered the 2020 championship. That banner matters. It is real, and it will always be the strongest proof that LeBron's time in purple and gold was not a failure. But the critics have their evidence too. After that title, the Lakers never became the dynasty many expected. Injuries, roster mistakes, early playoff exits, missed opportunities, and constant instability followed. For a franchise that measures success in championships, one title in 8 years left room for debate. That is why Skip Bayless's criticism hit a nerve. He was not saying LeBron did nothing. He was saying the overall story did not match the legend. To him, the missed playoffs, sweeps, and short runs made the Lakers era feel more disappointing than dominant. Still, reducing LeBron's entire Lakers run to failures is too easy. He broke the NBA's all-time scoring record in that jersey. He kept himself near the top of the league far longer than anyone expected. He carried pressure that most players could never survive. So the truth sits in the middle. LeBron's Lakers era was too successful to call a failure, but too unstable to call perfect. He gave Los Angeles a championship, but not a dynasty. He gave them history, but not a peaceful ending. And now, because he left, instead of retiring as a Laker, fans are going back and regrading everything. That is what makes this ending so powerful. The goodbye did not just close the chapter. It reopened the debate. Luka Dončić became the future overnight. The second LeBron walked away, one thing became clear. The Lakers belong to Luka Dončić now. Maybe that shift had already happened behind closed doors. Maybe the front office had been planning it for months. But once LeBron left, the hidden truth became public. Los Angeles had chosen its next era. Luka represents everything the Lakers need moving forward. He is younger, still in his prime, and gives the franchise a long-term superstar to build around. LeBron was the face of the past 8 years. Luka is the face of tomorrow. And that transition was always going to create tension. LeBron's timeline was urgent. Win now, build around veterans, maximize every remaining season. Luka's timeline is different. Build carefully, add the right pieces, protect the future. Those two timelines can exist together for a while, but eventually a franchise has to choose. The Lakers chose Luka. That does not mean Luka pushed LeBron out. He did not need to say anything. His presence alone changed the power structure. Every roster move after LeBron's exit looked like another sign that the organization was building around its younger star. Some fans see that as smart business, others see it as disrespectful. But in the NBA, emotions do not stop the clock. Teams must decide when to honor the past and when to protect the future. For 8 years, LeBron was the center of the Lakers universe. Now that gravity has shifted. And when the king leaves the building, the new face of the franchise does not need to take the crown. It is already waiting for him. Stephen A. Smith turned the rebuild into a war. Skip Bayless questioned why LeBron left. Stephen A. Smith questioned what the Lakers became after he left. That made the story even louder. Stephen A. looked at the new Lakers roster and did not see a championship team. He saw a franchise trying to sell a new era before proving it could actually win. Luka Dončić, Austin Reeves, Walker Kessler. And the new pieces might be interesting, but interesting is not the Lakers standard. The Lakers standard is banner. To Stephen A., LeBron may have looked at that future and decided he did not want to spend his final years inside someone else's rebuild. At this stage of his career, LeBron does not have time to wait for chemistry, experiments, or long-term patience. But Bayless saw the same moves differently. To him, the Lakers were finally free. Free from LeBron's contract. Free from his influence. Free to build around Luka without bending every decision around an aging superstar. That is why the debate became so addictive. One side said LeBron left because the roster was not good enough. The other side said the roster got better because LeBron left. Same situation. Two completely different stories. And the Lakers now have to live with the result. If Luka wins, the front office will look bold and smart. If Luka fails, people will say they pushed LeBron James out too soon. That is the risk of choosing the future. You only look like a genius if the future actually delivers. The reactions revealed the real split. LeBron's exit became even more revealing because everyone reacted differently. Luka Dončić kept it respectful. He thanked LeBron and said it was an honor to play with him. No drama, no shots, no public tension, but even that became part of the debate. Some fans saw Luka's message as proof there was no problem. Others thought it sounded too clean, too safe, too controlled. Then Magic Johnson stepped in with gratitude. His message reminded everyone how this era began. Magic helped bring LeBron to Los Angeles, and he thanked him for creating a new chapter that included the 2020 championship. That reaction gave the story history. Then Anthony Davis added a different kind of energy. As LeBron's championship partner, any criticism connected to the Lakers front office carried extra weight. AD knew what it was like inside that building. He knew what worked, what failed, and how quickly things changed. That is why the reactions mattered. Luka represented the future. Magic represented the beginning. Anthony Davis represented the championship years. Skip and Stephen A. represented the media war. Bronny represented the emotional uncertainty. All of them were connected to the same exit, but each one showed a different side of it. The Lakers wanted the story to be about respect. LeBron wanted it to be about gratitude. The media made it about conflict. Fans made it about betrayal, strategy, loyalty, and power. That is why the goodbye never calmed down. LeBron left Los Angeles, but his shadow stayed inside the building. And until the Lakers prove they can win without him, that shadow is not going anywhere. Bronny is now the most complicated piece. Bronny James did not create this drama, but he is trapped inside it. When LeBron left and Bronny stayed, the story became much bigger than free agency. It became about family, pressure, and whether Bronny's career can truly stand on its own. The Lakers guaranteed Bronny's contract right before LeBron's exit, and that timing made everything feel suspicious. Was Bronny part of the Lakers' future? Was he being kept as a development project, or was he still connected to whatever move LeBron makes next? That is a difficult position for any young player. Bronny already lives under a spotlight most rookies could never handle. Every mistake becomes a debate, every minute gets analyzed, every quiet game turns into a headline. Now the pressure is even bigger. If Bronny stays with the Lakers, people will ask whether the team truly believes in him. If he gets traded to LeBron's new team, critics will say his career is still tied to his father's power. Either way, he cannot escape the conversation, but maybe staying in Los Angeles could help him. Maybe separation from LeBron gives Bronny a chance to build his own identity, learn under JJ Redick, grow beside Luka, and earn respect one step at a time. That would be the healthiest outcome. Because Bronny is not just a storyline, he is a young player trying to find his place. LeBron can handle criticism. He has lived with it for over 2 decades. But watching his son get pulled into the politics of his exit is different. That is personal. LeBron's next jersey will define his final chapter, but Bronny's next step may decide whether he gets to write a chapter that truly belongs to him. The next jersey could rewrite the ending. LeBron's next team will not just be another stop, it will be a statement. If he joins the Warriors, the message is clear. He wants one more historic title run. LeBron beside Stephen Curry would shake the entire NBA. 2 icons who battled for years would suddenly be chasing a ring together. That would be must-watch basketball. But it would also bring huge pressure. Every loss would become a crisis. Every bad shooting night would become a debate. Critics would call it a desperate ring chase. Fans would call it genius if it worked. Miami would be a different story. A return to the Heat would feel disciplined, serious, and symbolic. Miami is where LeBron became a champion for the first time. Going back there would connect his past with his final mission. Cleveland would be the emotional ending. That is where the story began. A return to the Cavaliers would not need much explanation. It would be about home, legacy, and closing the circle. But the real question is simple. Does LeBron want the best roster, the best story, the best chance to play with Bronny, or the best chance to prove the Lakers wrong? Because wherever he goes, the Lakers story will follow. If LeBron wins, people will say Los Angeles moved on too soon. If the Lakers struggle, pressure on Luka and the front office will explode. If LeBron struggles, critics will say the Lakers made the right decision. That is why his next move matters so much. It will not just decide where he plays, it could rewrite how the Lakers breakup is remembered. The lesson behind the Lakers breakup: when everything slows down, this story is not really about one goodbye. It is about what happens when greatness, time, loyalty, and business all crash into the same room. LeBron James gave the Lakers something real. He gave them relevance when they needed it. He gave them a championship. He gave them historic nights, unforgettable records, and the kind of global attention only a few athletes in history can create. But the Lakers also had to face something real. No player, not even LeBron, can stop time. That is the cold side of professional sports. Franchises celebrate legends in public while planning for life after them in private. They hang banners, make tribute videos, and use words like family, loyalty, and respect. But behind closed doors, they are calculating contracts, timelines, flexibility, age, injuries, and future stars. That does not always mean disrespect. Sometimes it means survival. The Lakers looked at Luka Dončić and saw tomorrow. They looked at LeBron and saw a legendary chapter entering its final pages. Maybe they handled it perfectly. Maybe they handled it poorly. Maybe the truth sits somewhere in the uncomfortable middle. But the lesson is clear. In the NBA, the hardest decisions are rarely about talent alone. They are about timing. Move on too early, and you look ungrateful. Wait too long, and you lose your future. Honor the past too much, and you risk becoming stuck inside it. Chase the future too aggressively, and you risk destroying the culture that made the franchise special. That is the line the Lakers are walking now. For LeBron, the lesson is different. His power is still enormous, but even his story is changing. He is no longer just the superstar teams build around without hesitation. He is now the legend, choosing how he wants the final act to look. That requires wisdom, not just ambition. The next move has to be about more than proving people wrong. It has to be about peace. Because LeBron has already built a legacy, no hot take can erase. Skip Bayless can grade his Lakers years however he wants. Stephen A. Smith can debate the roster. Fans can argue about Luka, Bronny, Pelinka, and every decision in between. But the banners, the records, and the impact are already written. The only thing left is how LeBron chooses to carry himself through the ending. And the same goes for the Lakers. They can build around Luka without disrespecting LeBron. They can protect their future without pretending the past meant nothing. They can give Bronny space to grow without using him as a storyline. They can move forward without turning gratitude into politics. That is what great organizations do. They do not just win games. They handle transitions with class. Because someday, Luka will be older too. Someday, the Lakers will have to make another impossible decision. Someday, another superstar will learn what LeBron is learning now. The league keeps moving, even when the legend is not ready for the music to stop. So maybe the best ending is not revenge. Maybe it is clarity. LeBron finds a team that respects what he still can do. The Lakers commit fully to Luka without running from their history. Bronny gets the chance to become his own man. And fans remember that behind every trade rumor, every contract, every argument, there are human beings trying to protect their futures. That is the peaceful truth beneath all the noise. Greatness deserves respect, the future deserves courage, and endings deserve honesty. So now I want to hear from you. If you think LeBron will prove the Lakers wrong, comment 1. If you think the Lakers made the right move by choosing Luka's future, comment 2. If you think Bronny should stay in Los Angeles and build his own path, comment 3. And if you want more NBA drama, player stories, trades, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns like this, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with another real basketball fan.